Hey, what's up everybody? It's Chad Morris, aka CMO, here to take you through the making of my 4D mirror mandala. To start it off, I measured and drew out the 12-sided flower-like pattern on a piece of thin plywood, then cut it out with my jigsaw. After sanding it, I coated it with glue and Mod Podge and added several coats of turquoise sand and sealed it all with more Mod Podge after that. Next, I used about 120 circles of felt and began arranging and gluing them in place one by one, and after they were all lined up, I used some decorative spiral string to wrap and glue around each piece as a nice outline. This was definitely not easy, took about 6 hours on its own. I ended up having to spread super glue in streaks throughout each string before cutting it, otherwise it would just fray and spiral apart immediately. But I eventually got there and moved on to hot gluing some rope around the outer edge. Now at this point, I thought I was done, but considering I made this about 3 years ago and it never even came close to selling, I decided to come back to it about a year ago. So fast forward 2 years after originally finishing it, and you can see I already added new details like the small mirrors within each circle, as well as these cutout mirrors in between. After getting all the new mirrors in place, I wanted to outline each of them, but it was not easy coming up with a solution that wouldn't ruin the mirrors in the process. I ended up using more rope, which I attempted to paint with a textured finish. Can't tell you how long I tried to make this work, but I eventually decided I would need to go over all the outlining ropes again and make them thicker and just more uniform altogether. I thought I could use the way Gorilla Glue expands to help cut down on material, and though I do like that idea for the unique texture, it's just too messy and unpredictable to work with. And I found this stuff called 3D Snow Writer to outline these iridescent pieces, which were just decorative paper that I had laminated to protect it. I ended up using my own modeling paste combo to slowly but surely build out the barriers. And though you can't see it, I learned the hard way that these cutout mirrors simply can't be cleaned like a normal mirror. I scratched them so bad that I was either going to have to call it quits or completely redo them. I used my Dremel tool with the roto zip and sawzall to carefully cut out the old mirrors. Next, I used my angle grinder to add some extra surface area for the new mirrors. All that finally squared away, I began giving it a new touch-up job and adding more depth to the barriers with air-dried clay. I repeated the sand and Mod Podge layers and painted over it one last time before I was ready to replace all the felt and mirror pieces. I don't have any footage of this part, but I cut this 3-foot circle and painted it white, then added some more rope for the barrier when I had an idea to save time by using a can of popcorn texture spray. It took a lot of time carefully filling in those edges, but I got there eventually. Next, I cut out some pieces of thick plexiglass which I hot glued in place to protect the new cutout mirrors. I used a clear hot glue so that I could run lights right alongside of it and have the lights shine right through the edges and array off the mirrors. Now I was ready to secure the two pieces together, so I cut a hole to run the lights plug through, then screwed the two pieces together and added a nice strong wire to hang it with on the back. And voila! Just like that, 3 years later, I was finally done. Whatever. Hopefully you guys like it as much as I do, and one thing I really love is how these lights have over 50 different functions and color combinations, so some of those really bring it to life in different ways. So if you haven't figured it out or haven't even really thought about it yet, the added dimension of the mirror's reflection is what makes it 4-dimensional, rather than just 3D. Though I know that's a bit questionable, it's definitely worthy of debate, but either way, it's just awesome to see this thing finally come together. I'll tell you what. Alright, y'all, well, that's all I got for now, so follow for more, and I'm on to the next one, and I hope you are too. See you next time.